welcome to come up. Yeah, we can do 2 rows, 1 on each side.
So as we collect the soil, I'm going to be reading aloud 40 names of individuals that were lynched in Maryland. William Andrews, George Armoy, James Bowen, Hezekiah Brown, William Burns, James Carroll, Howard Cooper, Henry Davis, Michael Green, Jacob Henson, Thomas Jurek, Isaac Moore, George W. Peck, John Henry Scott, James Taylor, David Thomas, Paige Wallace, Charles Whitney.
Good afternoon, everyone. We'd like to welcome all of you to Justice Day in the pursuit of racial equity here in Kent County. Thank you all for coming.
Oh, gracious and merciful God, we gather this day, Lord, that we regard as Justice Day, realizing that we are powerless to change what already has happened in the past.
By learning about the injustice of James Taylor's lynching, may we better understand the connection between the domestic terrorism of the past and harsh, unjustified discriminatory practices of today.
Blind justice supplying prison inventory, wrong place, wrong people, wrong time, wrong way, wrong skin, wrong.
One could argue that things have not changed, that we've merely swapped one means of oppression for another.
But on this day, and in this present age, we have come together as one people. Therefore, dear Lord, we ask that you fill us with your love for one another and all humankind. Amen.
On probably about 4 o'clock in the morning on July 25th, a bus is going to leave from one of the parking lots in town headed to Birmingham, Alabama. It's going to take one of these jars of soil to Montgomery to the Legacy Museum to be on permanent display there. We'll start in Birmingham. The group is going to see the National Civil Rights Museum and go to the 16th Street Baptist Church. Then the bus is going to go to Selma, Alabama and go to the National Voting Rights Museum and walk across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Then going to go to Montgomery, Alabama and go to the Legacy Museum and go to the National Memorial for Peace and Justice. And then we'll finish it off at the King Center in Atlanta. Can you imagine the impact on 30 young people to take that trip? I hope you'll join us.
We have some bags over here for the young people that you're responsible for this week. It has your journal in it, snacks, water, hand sanitizer. So please try to keep up with your bag that you get. And if y'all gone with us the way before, y'all know it's not a lot of rules. The biggest rule is to respect you, yourself, everybody around you, and that encompasses everything. But we will touch on some more rules just to make it clear if anybody have a hard time understanding the respect word. Anaya, Mark, here. Love, here. Andrea, here. Raven, here. Jazz, here. Zay, here. Mr. Murray, here. Addison, here. Dylan, here. Thank you. What you told Dylan? Cash,
here. Good morning. We are here at Maneri's at about 3:45 a.m. getting ready to hit the road.
Alabama bound. We're super excited. We got a lot of people here. Parking lot is busy. We're going straight to Alabama. 15-hour drive. We'll get there at 8 o'clock tonight. Check into our hotel and have a pizza party. So get on the bus.
We're ready to get on the bus.
Civil Rights Tour 2022.
bus. Get on the bus. Get on the bus. Get on the bus. Get on the bus.
Make a pilgrimage.
Get on the bus.
We're Dixie bound.
Get on the bus.
On a journey.
Get on the bus.
To sacred ground.
Get on the bus.
To Alabama.
Get on the bus.
To Birmingham.
Get on the bus.
To Montgomery. And on to Selma Town.
In the footsteps of Fred Shuttlesworth and Rosa Parks, of Denise, Carol, Cynthia, and Addie Mae, the little girls who broke our hearts.
Get on the bus. Get on the bus.
In the footsteps of John Lewis on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, and in Kelly Ingram Park where Bull Connor holds and jailed our kids.
Get on the bus. Get on the bus. Get on the bus. Get on the bus.
We going pool to the bar got wet. So they having a good time so far.
There were 48 people lynched in the parish I grew up in. And I have been the recipient of the privilege of being white. You know, you just don't think about it. We don't have to think about it. White people don't have to think about this. Why does it take you 65, 70 years for you to realize the privilege you've had?
I'll let George go first.
Why? You think I'm gonna copy your answers?
No, I was just giving you the opportunity to go first.
How do you guys relate?
We are mother and daughter.
I'm 9 years old and I'm the youngest person on this ship.
I'm 83 years old.
I've been called to ministry as a public school teacher.
I was born in Mali, Africa.
Do you have anything? I'm thinking it over.
I came on this trip because I wanted to know how us black people was treated back in the old days.
I grew up with a white elementary school in front of me. I couldn't come out of my house and go to the first grade right straight across the street.
Cara, Pierre, Banks, Jazz, Zay, Mr. Murray, Ramon, Tayshawn, Baby A, Ryan, Chloe, Keegan.
When they first talked about this trip, I said, nah, I'm not wasting my time. I have a business at home. But as it went on, I said to myself, you gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta go. Then I found out that my nephew was eligible for a scholarship to come along. I saw to it that he came along.
I had to think about that for a couple of minutes and then I said, yeah, but you had to ask my mom. I thought she was gonna say no at first, but she said yes, and then I went.
I was a new pastor into Kent County, Chestertown in February 2020. So in the midst of the COVID and the racial struggles, I went to the marches at the fountain and started meeting other clergy or other activists and speakers and community organizers like Paul and Doncella. This was on their vision list. It felt like it wasn't as much of a choice as it was the automatic. It's just of course we do this.
Black history is not taught in schools, so to come and actually see and hear firsthand, that is what I wanted her and myself to experience.
You know, I couldn't ask for a better group of people to work with on this.
I didn't think this trip was going to come. We started talking about it and it happened really, really quick. I think we did this probably in maybe 6 months, if that. It really took off. So I'm still in awe that we're here.
thing that surprised me was the water hoses. I didn't know water could really hold you like that. Like he said, water hoses, and then you had to get through dogs and horses getting stuck on a horse. Yeah, that was crazy. I didn't even know you can get sprayed by a water hose that hard.
I was surprised to think that like the teachers would actually help the students get out with them turning their back so they wouldn't get fired and so the kids can go protest. They played like a car alarm or whatever. There were like some system that went out to all the schools like a radio, and all the students would get up and leave the school and they walked to the park to go protest. And then about 17,000 of them, he said, end up having to go to jails, and the jails got overcrowded, and some of them are there for over 10 days or more just because they went to protest.
So I wasn't really surprised, but still questioning how could someone hate someone so much that they could hurt them and have no consideration in their heart.
The church is still used today for to go to church. There was 2 more people who also died that same day, just not at the church.
My experience today at the 16th Baptist Church was eye-opening. It was tumultuous.
The experience was surreal, interesting, informative, emotional.
I would say it was life-changing.
Has a couple of nicknames. The Magic City is the official nickname, but it has 2 nicknames of a negative connotation: the Tragic City and Birmingham. From 1947 to 1963, the 4 men who bombed this church had perpetrated in excess of 110 bombings. Dr. King gave his I Have a Dream speech initially right here. Many people don't know that. It was given here first before it was given in Washington. Yes, sir. The bomb was placed on this side of the building under an external stairwell. All of these windows on this side of the nave were totally destroyed, with the exception of this center panel. That center panel is the only piece that survived the bomb. It was damaged very badly, however. The face of Jesus Christ was blown out of it, and there was a huge crack across the heart. And when the members of the congregation saw that, they said that Jesus Christ was so ashamed, he hid his face and broke his heart. So can you tell the difference in the coloration of the windows? These are all original 1911 windows, and these are newer windows. I said, Mrs. Stolenworth, were you at church the morning of the bomb? And she responded, all right. She exploded like a bomb herself and put me out. She had untreated PTSD. All of those years. I never asked another question because I was too afraid. And after that, I was on a crusade to learn what I could learn. The building this way, and they planted the bombs right here.
Some of them have said that they didn't intend to hurt anyone, but at the same time, you can't just bomb something and intend not to hurt anyone. That's not how that works. That sounds dumb, honestly. I'm sorry, but
I didn't know
who they were specifically and how, like, their ages, where they came from.
There was only
They were around our age.
They were exactly our age.
And
They
then
were
one was
14,
11.
I think. The youngest one there was 11.
What made me angry was the fact that the perpetrators of the bombing were basically just given a slap on the wrist. Having a bond of $300, that's an insult. So basically you're saying that 4 people are only worth $300. That makes me angry. Made me angry and will continue to make me angry until some things are changed.
For me, I was fine until he started playing the organ. Then it was like, it was real. We're in a real church that still has real services. So, I don't know, my heart started beating. It was just a little weird being in the presence of such a tragedy. It was a good and a bad. Like, I don't know, I felt like I was paying homage to my ancestors for being there, but it was still very sad that 4 innocent girls was lost so senselessly. It was a bit overwhelming, but it was a good experience.
I think for me, it would probably be when we first went into the experience room. When we sat there and they were playing, like, Amazing Grace, I was like, oh my God, because, like, that's always the song, you know?
Yeah.
We lived in Alabama from 1990 until 1996. None of this was here then. And so to see it remembered and honored and acknowledged is huge progress just from the 1990s.
I've gotten in trouble for preaching too close to the real Jesus instead of the whitewashed American Jesus. Even the stained glass windows in there are a little too whitewashed Jesus. The one in the back, it's closer. And to try to stand and speak words that are that close to Jesus, we know what happened to him. We know what happened to Martin. We know what happened to the girls. And to stand in that pulpit, I stand in the pulpit every Sunday, but I try to stand in that pulpit. And it's a hard space. And I would love to think myself as worthy of a chair like that.
I felt like annoyed and not in disbelief because I expected that, but like just kind of disbelief because like how could you have so much hatred in your heart for someone you don't know, someone you've never talked to personally, and like you've never stopped to have a conversation with them and have so much hatred in your heart and have your mind made up about them when you don't know them.
Racism isn't born, it's taught. Like, people are just brought up racist, kind of. Some people, not all people.
The majority of the pictures I've seen from people who were targeting the colored people were, like, young. So I know that they had to be brought up that way, or, like, taught that, because there's no way you're just going to be born into the world with hate, that much hate.
I think that fear and anxiety of possibly being killed or being hurt for the color of your skin, I don't think that's gone away.
It makes me angry when I hear people say all lives matter, because you have to recognize the atrocities that have been perpetrated against black people and that we are seen as non-human or subpar. And it still makes me upset that when I say Black Lives Matter, then you refute that with another statement to like patronize me. That makes me angry.
So before we came down here, I had a conversation with someone who may be late 60s, who was 11 when the bombing happened. And she was going to church with her families, and she didn't want to go to church anymore. Mm-hmm. And I think the one thing we forget from the circumstances now, and that the members of the church did not receive any counseling, any therapy. They had no one to talk to. They said if you were in school and you were not hurt, you went back to school that Monday. And if you were an adult, you went back to work. And so that's why we are taking the time to do this exercise with you all now, because we have a lot of trauma in our society right now. We see that home. So it's not just a deep south anymore. We see that home. So we're talking about why did we come to Alabama?
We came to learn about our rights that we had in the past and what we've been through and where we are now.
We came to learn like about our history and the rights that we didn't have and how we didn't have voices then.
We came to learn about stuff that we don't get to talk about at school, and like stuff that doesn't get told to us until we're older.
We came down here to learn more about our Black history. Like all the tragic things that have been happening in here is actually like serious. Like you don't get to learn it down in all the education that you learn in school and stuff.
We were laughing and talking right where the bomb was, where those 4 girls died. And I just felt like, oh my God, people died here. And we were just casually walking down the street and taking selfies and having a good time.
I work with trauma. I've had my own trauma, but to have secondhand trauma, to actually feel it, be in the presence of it, that's all I felt today. I just felt like this area is just full of trauma.
And you just never think like, oh, they're gonna bomb a church. And, you know, my life would be over right then and there.
You know, they didn't care about the fact that there were children. They made up a story that said that they didn't mean to. You set off a dynamite bomb. You had to know.
It kind of struck me because most of the kids in this room are that age. And that's terrifying.
There was a flag on a wall. It was a painting. And there were faces, figures behind that flag which was supposed to be representing us.
It does mean a lot to have our white counterparts as allies who truly and genuinely are in this fight with us.
It may be hard to express for you all because you've seen the Black president, right? You've seen a woman in office, Kamala Harris, and she's a woman of color. And now we're talking about, oh, you had to fight to vote?
Y'all don't realize how powerful y'all are, or the change that y'all can make, because y'all not forced to. So when that lady was impromptu, first she came and she was fussing at y'all, remember?
Okay, they must stay with their
Y'all apologized, she left, and then she came back.
little kindness ordered the dogs and hose pipes on those children. And that toilet right across the street is where it happened.
And she spent maybe 10 minutes talking.
And you young men, in today's society, you're critical. You are important. You can make a difference.
Y'all could do so much. Don't have to wait to find your power. It's already there. Young people turned the tide of civil rights down here. I didn't know that. Moms and dads and the adults couldn't leave jobs. They would get fired. So it was financial ramifications about wanting to be there. Kids, you leave school. So they left schools early and often. And right when the civil rights movement was starting to wear down, those kids, young kids, kind of gave it a shot in the arm and ended up turning the tide. Being a parent, I go against all of that. That's like the opposite of being a good parent, putting your child in harm's way. How desperate would I be to put them in a situation where they could die? They're definitely going to jail. Water hoses, we've heard, snatching skin off our arms, the dogs, the beatings. How desperate would I be? So that just instantly put me in a place of they were some desperate people. Desperate people to do that.
I guess I've learned what Selma feels like today, but I wish that there were more there. I wish it was a place where people wanted to live. But then I also realized that I don't know that I would want to live there.
Yeah, right, driving into Selma, approaching the bridge, it felt abandoned. It made me think about the current efforts right now in so many of the states across our country to suppress education about anything racial in our histories, and it feels like Selma is being repressed, squashed, hushed.
When Dr. King got up at 7 and started working, Dr. King would get up early in the morning. He'd be out shaking people's hands. People that's going to work, people that's taking the kids to school, every kid walking to school. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? What happened was, people started telling Dr. King, Dr. King, I don't live in Selma. We just came to the store in Selma. We live in another county. We live in Wilkes County. We live in Perry County. So Dr. King started asking them, hey man, but I think y'all need to be ready to go to school. They said, yeah, Dr. King, we want to be ready to vote like the people in Selma doing. But Dr. King, we need somebody to come and help us too. Can you help us in Wilkes County? Help us in Perry County? Help us in Niles County? Dr. King said, wait a minute now. I'm on the white man, because I can't go everywhere. He started sending people on his staff to help the black people in those counties start organizing voter registration activity.
Oh, he's saying that. Like, oh, yes. I didn't even realize what was going on. Yeah. Oh, it just does something to my spirit. No.
What made me the most angry was the KKK memorabilia. The robe with the cross symbol, the badge for the institution with a cross lifted high over his head as he rode a horse. And then there was another one from 2015 with a website and an email address. And I just boiled.
You know, as a Christian, a born-again believer, you know, I cannot fathom how you can teach something and live so far from it.
The fact that they jailed young kids, 10, 11 years old, and you jailed them up. Really? I don't think there was 1 ounce of compassion, understanding, or respect.
The way they were being treated just because of the color of their skin, that's not right at all. It's like, what if it was the opposite? What if black people were doing that to white people? If black people were doing the same thing to white people, it wouldn't be right. That's why we did it in a non-violent way. But they did it in a real violent way. It was scary. And I don't like it, even though I wasn't there that time. I didn't like it.
Put your hands to the feet upside. Come on, stop playing. Come on, where's it?
It's crazy. You probably carry your arms around to the line. Can you get both sides? Yeah. No. Bottom, almost. Still, though, it's crazy. 6, 7, 8 people in a cell like this at the same time. Yeah. No air conditioning. Sweltering.
Look at the charges.
I need to pick that.
Parading without permit. That's wild. Picketing, like, that's crazy.
What's the bucket for?
Convicted.
Water, because they drinking out of it.
Convicted, non-processed.
They drinking out of that. They would stuff you in these cells, 8, 9, 10 deep. So we wanted to see what it looked like. We got 9 in here. Andre just came in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people. Come on, Ray, make it 10 and close the door when you come in. Close the cell door. It's already warmer since we all in. We ain't got a little warmer, right? And for hours on end, that's what it looked like.
And they were singing.
I do believe we shall overcome someday.
Our Bibles call us to love. But on the opposite side of that, I have to recognize that there is hate in this world. We really need to be more on our jobs of spreading the message of love so that it counteracts the evil and the hate in this world.
It hit home that though these people have died fighting, devoting their whole lives to civil rights, unfortunately, there are still some things we have to change as of now, 60 plus years later. So
we just heard all that information from the gentleman at the Civil Rights Museum. kind of just upsetting to hear his story and to hear that he was 11 when this happened, and when we're traveling with 11-year-olds with us on this trip, and just really wanting them to be able to find the leader in them. And I understand that kids their age were in the street and they've seen people beaten and shot and tear gas and water hose. So right now we're about to take the march.
Get ready to go across the Pettus Bridge. Bunch of feelings, bunch of emotions going on. All good. Feel like we're doing a great thing, but it definitely feels eerie to be in Selma and to know what we're about to do and know what happened on Bloody Sunday and all the history and all the great people that walked across this bridge.
I'm kind of nervous about going across the bridge. I'm kind of nervous about going to Montgomery. Just hearing the stories and hearing what happened as soon as they got there to the intersection. When the guy said he was 11 and hearing how my son's almost 11, like, I'm kind of nervous about the feeling.
Pretty much recognizes those who came before us, those that have lost their lives. And so you pour out a liquid in honor of that person. And after we pour it out, we say, Ashe. So you will be able to call out the names that we have heard today, the names that we have heard yesterday. And I'll start with the Honorable John Lewis. We say,
Ashe. Dr. Martin Luther King.
We say,
James Davidson.
Ashe.
Jimmy Lee.
Ashe.
Reverend James Reeb.
Ashe.
James Taylor.
Ashe. Anton Black.
Ashe. And what we'll do now before we walk is just we'll just take a moment of silence.
And think about having the heart and the courage to walk across a bridge, knowing that you're going to be beaten, knowing that you could possibly be killed. Think about that. We walking across and it's hot. They was walking across not knowing that they was going to make it back to the other side. Think about that. This shit ready.
The Southern aristocracy began immediately to engineer the development of a segregated society. It may be said of the slavery era that the white man took the world and gave the Negro Jesus. Then it may be said of the Reconstruction era that the Southern aristocracy took the world and gave the poor white man Jim Crow. When his wrinkled stomach cried out for the food that his empty pockets could not provide, he ate Jim Crow, a psychological bird that told him that no matter how bad off he was, at least he was a white man better than the black man. Today I want to tell the city itself, tell them that. Today I want to say to the state of Alabama, yes sir. Today I want to say to the people of America and the nations of the world, we are not about to turn around. Yes. We are on the move now. Yes, we are on the move and no wave of racism can stop us. Yes, we are on the move now. The violence of our churches will not deter us. Yes, the bombing of our homes will not dissuade us. Yes, we're on the move now. Yes, like an idea whose time has come. Yes, that's not even the marching of mighty armies can hold us. Yes, we are moving to the land of freedom. Yes, it will not be long because true pressure will rise again. Yes, how long? Not long. Because no lie can live forever. Yes, sir. How long? Not long. How long? Because you shall reap what you sow. Yes, sir. How long? How long? How long? Because my eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. His truth is marching on. Our God is marching on. Glory, hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on.
I have been excited about this trip. I've looked at that bridge. I looked at President Barack Obama on that bridge. I know all about that bridge. It's one of the spots that I really, really was excited about on this trip. I did not know that I was going to tear up. Right, you get up the hill and I'm breathing and I'm taking it all in, but going down that hill, right when you get to the top of that hill, I just went back to, darn, what was waiting for them down there? Bloody Sunday.
Quite frankly, I hadn't intended on walking across that bridge because I've got a bad knee, and nobody was on the bus, so I said, well, I guess I might as well go with the rest of them. It took me a while to get across it, but I crossed it, and I didn't get any feeling at all until I got to the further end of it. And I'm saying to myself, oh, it's coming up that, this is where a lot of this happened at, the beatings, all of that, and which I said, this is something that shouldn't have happened.
We just crossed the Edmund Pettus Bridge. It was heavy. It was powerful. Just knowing what they were facing. We got to the top coming down. We stopped and we asked them, it's dogs down here, it's police down there. It's going to be a confrontation down there. Do we keep going? And the crowd was like, no, we're going to keep going. And of course, we're reenacting, but you think about, they kept coming. Will we be brave enough now to keep coming? Knowing that we were going to get beat, knowing that we could possibly die. So it was heavy. It was heavy. I'm glad that we did it, man.
I really felt I'm just really feeling like a sense of presence in the area of what people had to go through just for their right to vote. They wanted to vote. They wanted to be a part of a democratic process. And so for me, this moment is motivational to continue the work that we do and to continue to pour in the young people so they just really understand history and want to keep learning history.
The trip for me thus far has been eye-opening. I've gone through a range of emotions from sadness to anger to empathy, compassion. Yesterday was really a difficult day because I never really thought of myself as a person that would be an activist, although I am a person that will advocate for somebody. But yesterday, being in that church actually made me really angry and really had me to take a look of how I feel about different races. At some point, I had to really check myself because I found myself being really angry towards white people, which I have not done in my life, right? And then I was like, you know what? I can't spend my time being angry. Today actually kind of made me feel a little sad because as we were riding, I saw how much poverty it was, how many abandoned buildings there were, and just the plight of the people that live in this area kind of makes me really sad.
Today, walking across the bridge, I had an array of feelings, and I am most grateful for my predecessors for paving the way. As I got closer to the end of the bridge, I felt as though I wanted to lock hands, and I wish that we could have done that because these people walked for us, they fought for us, knowing what was ahead. And they continue to walk the journey so we can have the rights that they didn't. But yet we need to continue to fight the fight
I know most of these people in this room, most of these adults back here, like, didn't get to learn all this at our ages.
They had to get whooped just to get across that bridge.
I felt upset when he was telling us the story about how they took him to jail twice just for fighting for his rights.
These past few days, bits and pieces of history that I didn't know has been filled in, and it's just sad how these events played out.
Walking over that bridge, I felt frustrated because they came so far, but we still have so much work to do.
The word is proud. I'm extremely proud that we're here. I'm extremely proud that this came together, that it came to fruition. We don't celebrate, we just get on to the next thing. But I just think I'm just gonna be proud of this forever. Still very humble, but extremely, extremely proud.
I am proud of each and every one of you. I understand that it's hard for children to express themselves. It is hard for some adults to express themselves. You do it in your own way. All this information is going to sit with you. And I know that y'all are taking it in even more than you're expressing it. I am proud of y'all. Continue doing what you're doing.
So it's just time to think about it. You all are at the ages of all the activists that we've talked about, seen, read about, heard about. And I always tell Mr. Paul, I don't always feel like play time. Because this world is not gonna play with you. So society is not playing with you all. And so you all have to decide. So that's why the change part for me is seeing what you all want to change. What do you want to do differently when you get home? Are you running the streets when you get home? Are we getting ready to go back to school in like 4 more weeks? What is it that you need to do? But that's it. I'm gonna stop. I'm good.
When you first enter, you see the waves and the water and stuff. And after that, I saw all of the slaves that were in chains and what have you. It was something that went to my imagination as far as what they went through coming over here, and they didn't ask to come over here.
The biggest thing that made me angry probably was today walking through the lynching memorial and my son, his mind being blown because, you know, he's 11 and tombstones have first and last names and dates, and that's a place that you honor. So for him to see all those markers unknown or no full name, I could tell it did something to him. Like, he understood in that moment, I feel like, that these people were treated as less than. And he know those people look like him. So angry about that. Angry about that.
I didn't know that white people could be so cruel. I really didn't. I've heard talk of things that happen, but to go through the museum like we did today, and each section of it was pertaining to segregation and how the Negroes were treated during that time, and it brought a tear to my eye. America was the land of the free, but it was not the land of the free for them.
We got spaces like this in Baltimore, but not like everywhere. You know what I mean? And to have to juxtapose that with the taking of a life, right? Like literally right across the street, a man died.
Mr. Taylor was being held at the Kent County Jail when the mob broke into the jail, tied a rope around his neck, and abducted him from police custody before he faced trial for any crime.
Whatever may be said about the provocation, the stigma will rest upon our county for many years.
Truth itself is in danger. We have to stand for truth as well as to tell the truth. In a time of deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act.
I hope we take an opportunity to think about who James Taylor could have been. I'm 35 years old, so if you told me that my life ended 12 years ago, I would have had nothing done. James Taylor didn't get that chance.
It's really difficult to put into words. It's just really a monumental occasion, just an effort of many that has taken us from planning to get to this point, the many partners that have come on board to assist us, our donors who made it possible to bring 54 people from Chestertown to Alabama on this historic civil rights bus tour.
Smallest county in the state of Maryland, brand new museum. To be represented here, to have our soil here, it's huge. For these young people to see this, when it come to fruition, it's huge. We're gonna mark our place in history. Right now, in this moment, I'm proud.
Definitely proud.
This is the soil taken from Cross Street in Chestertown, at the site where Mr. James Taylor was lynched in 1892. James Taylor was a farm worker who was working on a farm in Kennedyville one Sunday morning, and he was accused of molesting the daughter of the farmer. He was arrested and put in jail. 2 days later, a mob of 60 people with masks and guns broke open the jail and took him out and hanged him across the street, right across the street from the courthouse in Chestertown. And we collected this soil from where we think the tree stood that he was hanged in. I am so proud of our community for what we've accomplished in the last 3 years. And to be honored with bringing this soil here and presenting it to Gabrielle here, to be on display at the EJI Memorial and Legacy Museum.
We truly believe that each soil collection is a meaningful representation and gives people an opportunity when they come to our sites to see the scope of the violence of racial terrorism, but also the impact that we can have as communities when we confront the silence and confront those histories and legacies. And so we're very grateful to receive this soil and to add Mr. Taylor's soil to this now witness of jars that we have in the museum as well as in the sites themselves. So thank you all for contributing, and we really appreciate the work that you all have been doing and hope that work will continue.
Well, Mr. Taylor, all the way from King County, Maryland, Alabama. Give him some roses. 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 Air conditioners, please.
Great.
What's your favorite part so far?
Learning about the museums and Black History Month.
We're Black and we can make the world change at any age. That's what I believe.
This is day 3. Day 4. Day 4. Day 4. Day 4. Day 4, and we haven't lost nobody. Just the wheelchair and a few journals. Everybody just take a deep breath. Just on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. I just want to say I don't think I've ever been on a trip this heavy, and I anticipated it being heavy. And I'm an adult, so I can only imagine what you all are going through. But I am confident when I can hear the youngest on the trip say that he feel like he could change the world. because he's black.
Today was really heavy because born and raised in Washington, D.C., been to the Capitol, been to the Memorial, been to the White House. But what they don't tell you is black people made all this happen.
He was just cutting his grass, and two detectives walked up to him. It was like, you're charged with murder, attempted robbery, and something else. He basically had a white jury, a white judge, a white prosecutor, and they gave him 30 years on death row.
All they did was replace the white robe with the black robe. You know, we're supposed to be America, shining light on the hill, and the wall of shame with all the senators and governors, and these are elected officials.
When I was in 9th grade, I had got into an incident with a white student who called me the N-word with the ER afterwards. They basically lied on me and said that I started it when he started it. And then I went to court facing assault charges, and it was really rough. It was really rough. I was so depressed.
Sorry.
And they didn't believe me that I was gonna pass the 9th grade because I was black and I got kicked out of school. You can still get discriminated in 2022, and there's still so much racist people, you know, here.
If you feel like you were involved in something in school, you feel like it wasn't fair, there's resources out to help you. The Public Justice Center, they have attorneys that will represent your case. They did appeal. She was able to come back to the school, and Raven said she didn't want to go back to that environment. And so they told her, well, if you don't come back, you probably won't pass. So they put all that out there with no rhyme or reason that you probably won't pass if you don't come back into our building. But Raven passed, so give Raven her break. If she was a disruptive student, she wouldn't be able to come to MDA, leaving home from Easton at 7 o'clock in the morning to get up to Chestertown, staying till 4 or 5 o'clock, getting home at 6, 7 o'clock. It was work, but she got through that. And so that's why this week for us is just, it's been empowering for me, it's been emboldening for me. I told Paul, because I said, what is our action going back? What I tell you our action going back is?
Charter school.
Yeah, we're going to start out in school. That's what I said. We coming to work.
We could put more on y'all plates. I think adults sometimes don't put enough on y'all because they say, oh, they're kids. They're kids. But kids are resilient. Kids are strong. Young people, and y'all not babies. So the prompt this morning was to think about, because all of you agreed that you feel a new sense of responsibility, correct? Yes. Everybody said they agree with that. So I asked you to think about all throughout the day, us moving around, what that looks like going home.
Just being a resource to the community and like sharing this information that we're learning here at such a young age.
When we all get older and like have a family, we can tell our sons or daughters like what we learned about slavery and stuff.
We can also take this like knowledge to like our little brothers and sisters and like moms and dads and grandmas and all that.
You can make groups, like make a bigger group that has more focus on trying to make the world better.
I say we can combine like clubs and like we can get more people from like that live in the state and Kent County, and like we can all like, I wouldn't say protest, but like, yeah, protest.
So we're getting more tangible, more actiony with RJ and Cedar. That's what I'm talking about. Y'all shoot for the moon and the stars. I don't care about what that looks like. I'm always gonna come back and be like, we can't get to the moon and the stars, if we can. But damn, if we can, y'all come up with the moon and the stars, then we going to the moon and the stars. Don't limit the idea, fellas, right?
Like, as they were saying, like, getting groups involved, you don't just gotta do that outside of school, but you can do it inside of school. Like, just getting people involved, inviting people to stuff. Like, raise enough money so we can come back to the trip, like another trip with more people. Spread this out, like, whatever you're looking to do, just get it out there and stuff.
So when we're talking about a group, we're talking about training, you all can train the adults. But let's just keep vetting it out, keep spitballing it until we figure it out. Sound like a plan?
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all were great. Thank y'all for giving me another 15, 20 minutes. Clean up your mess. Day 5.
Day 5.
Day 5. Headed to Atlanta today for the last leg of our trip.
Still feeling like a powerful experience has happened for everyone, and we're excited now to move on into Atlanta and just to finish this journey and to do all things Dr. King. For our students and for others that may not know, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, there was one of the worst race massacres that happened in the United States. It was an area known as Black Wall Street where there were successful black businesses and it was mobbed by white folks. So what Atlanta has done is formed Black Wall Street here.
I got a free sample some banana pudding. Well, I've never had banana pudding, and now I'm about to try it. They gave us a map. There's a lot of jewelry, a lot of clothes, a lot of art. All black-owned businesses down here.
I think that children overall are soaking it in pretty well. They are listening, and you can tell they're listening.
The reaction that I've seen is anger, shock. I also feel like they won't get it all until they get home, and maybe some time down the road to process it in. But definitely anger, definitely shock, disbelief, hurt. There's some hurt going on, but they're taking it in. They're taking it in. They're strong. They're tough. They can handle it.
The stuff that I learned, I don't want to just keep it in my mind. Like, I can teach it. I can spread it. I can get it out there. And I can, like, make a change in this world with this piece of information that I learned going into this trip.
The Martin Luther King Jr. National Historic Site. We are outside of the King Center, the Visitor Center, and the historic Ebenezer Baptist Church, and also Martin Luther King's Memorial is also down the Freedom Walkway.
That we here, but at the same time, we're sad because he's dead.
We were here in 2009. We did not have a black president, which was President Obama. I am now the parent of an adult. I was here with a 12-year-old, so
I don't remember much because I was so young. I do remember seeing the tombstone, but I think I'm able to take more of it in and read more about Martin Luther King and his life and the things that he did.
Socially, not really much has changed. Honestly, I think we've gone backwards since then.
Way in the water, children. Way in the water. Oh, God's gonna trouble the water. Say, way in the water, children. In that water. There's healing in that water. There's blessing in that water. There's miracle in that water. God's gonna trouble the water.
The burn of the guilt for being one of the whites, my only balm for that is to fight and to be one of the patriots who doesn't storm the Capitol, but drives to Selma
on a bus.
If you want to facilitate change, you need to come and see this.
You can't go back and relate this to somebody. They have to experience it for themselves.
I am extremely humbled that I get to experience this trip.
This has been an education to me, a real good education. It's something I can say I can take to my grave with me because I walked in the paths of so many that had come before me.
Coming to Alabama in late July is not a vacation, but I have no regrets. It's been an amazing experience.
I have a feeling if we could get more and more white folk on this trip, the stuff they would unlearn would change the world.
Come prepared to learn and also to feel maybe some emotions and feel some things that you weren't aware that you would feel. It's very emotional. I was tearing up quite a bit.
I would say be cautious. It may be heartbreaking, it might be sad, it might be shocking.
Not all history is always kind.
I knew the world was different back then, but I think something that I really learned is what they were doing it for, and what they were fighting for, and what they were trying to get to.
Hopefully, from this experience, you take something away and figure out how you yourself can do good and make change in the world we have today.
Get involved, learn, and do something.
Allowing students to experience things that they may not be able to experience is so uplifting.
As far as planning coming down here again, I don't know what that looks like. I feel like we are going to end up back down here. I said it myself, spoke about it today. That wasn't the plan. It's a lot of people back home watching. It's a lot of people that want to come and want this experience. So the short answer is, I think MDA and hopefully the rest of the team to help put this together, we'll do this again.
Right now we're in Atlanta, Georgia. We're about to go back to Chestertown, Maryland.
Let's get back on the thing.
Oh my God. Oh, Donna. Oh,
We have returned to MDA headquarters. We're back in Maryland.
Shout out Sumner Hall, Roses. Shout out the Presbyterian Church, Roses. Shout out Miner's Dream Alliance, Roses. Hey, we back at it 2024.
We're on the bus to work for justice. We're on the bus for equality. We're on the bus with my brothers and sisters. We're on the bus for dignity. All
right, Gonzalo, how you feeling? I feel good, excited and energized now, and can't wait to see this full documentary of all the experiences come to light. So we are excited about
The
it.
King has told us the arc of the moral universe is long, but it destroys justice. We just have to be strong.
We're on the bus.
We're on the bus. The road is rocky.
So what do you think? How's the trip?
The journey has no end. We're on the bus, tired and hungry, but we will transcend.
We're on the bus. We're on the bus. Get on the bus.
I appreciate it. Letting him come on this trip.
That's my guy, yeah, he already
We
know.
got Kent Trojan, but we don't know where it's at. But it's
Yep. Boom. All right. Good, you have fun?
No, bro.
You need it. You need it. You need it, Carl. Oh, come on. Don't do that. I'm already in trouble for the wheelchair. I'm in trouble now. We ain't lose her grandson, though.
She said, let me find this receipt. I said, that's true.
Tell her, give me the receipt. If I can fill out her account. We had a ball. We had a ball.
Yes.
She helped us way more than we have her. Tired, excited, joyful, proud, happy.
the kids, the parents. It was a good time. You, Tanner, yeah, 2024.